What's up, you guys? Just making another NBA video on the moves that have been happening around the league. There's a lot that's happened, the past few days, so I figured I'd give an update. So we're on Shams Charania's page right now. I'm just gonna go through the moves. Free agent forward Javonte Green has agreed to a 1-year, $3.95 million deal to return to the Pistons. That move is just him, coming back to the team he was already playing for. There's not really much that does. So the Celtics, they re-signed Neemias Queta to a 4-year, $56 million extension with the franchise. It's an interesting move. I mean, they just traded Jaylen Brown, and they just signed Mitchell Robinson to a bigger deal. So it's interesting that they would re-sign him. I wonder if they're just, trying to get him locked into a good deal. I mean, that is arguably a good deal for him for what he did this season. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know what their plans are with Queta, if their plans are to keep him long-term or to trade him, but the Rockets and Tari Eason came close to an extension, but the versatile forward chose to play the year out and enter restricted free agency, where he received more guaranteed money than the October talks and stays in Houston. So Tari Eason signs for a 5-year, $81.5 million deal to go back to the Rockets. I would probably say that's probably a bit of an overpay for Tari Eason. I don't think he did much last year, and he doesn't seem to have like a super big impact on their team to the point where I'd pay him that much money, but they wanted to keep him, so they were able to do that. Pat Spencer agrees to a 2-way NBA contract with the Suns. Doesn't say for how much, but he was pretty decent last year in his limited. He only played 19 minutes. He averaged 7 points. It's pretty decent, just for a role player. Nuggets signed Tyus Jones. Doesn't say for how much. Probably like a minimum. Kyle Anderson back to he's going to the Raptors for a $3.9 million 1-year deal. Kind of another role player, so it doesn't really matter too much. Here's one I was surprised by. Anthony Simons. He signs a 2-year, $12.3 million deal to go to the 76ers. When he was playing with the Celtics, people thought he was projected to make like $25 million to $30 million a year. And to see him, the Celtics traded him away and he didn't get signed for very much. They could have kept him, and they could have had like a nice starting point guard for, the next 3, 4, 5 years. But they decided to trade him for Vucevic, who they ended up just letting walk anyways. It's kind of what the Celtics have been doing, is they've just been kind of cutting salary and just giving guys up. So Simon signs with the 76ers, who, as we know, they've gotten better with the Jaylen Brown trade. They got Tyrese Maxey, who's played like a superstar last year. VJ Edgecombe was one of the best rookies, and he's going to continue to improve. And then they added another superstar in Jaylen Brown, who averaged like 29, 30 points per game last year. So that backcourt is going to be crazy. I mean, it's going to be tough to guard Jaylen Brown, Edgecombe, and Maxey all at the same time with all the speed that they have. See what they do with Joel Embiid. Maybe they hang on to him, maybe not. Maybe they trade him for a couple players, but they have Anthony Simons now off the bench, who, in Portland, he was a borderline all-star. He was averaging like 20 points per game, so he's coming off the bench for them, and that he should be able to expose a lot of players in the playoffs. If he's coming off the bench, he should be able to like do very well against other teams' bench players. So that's a good signing by the 76ers, and I think it makes them stronger in the East. Nuggets signed to Marvin Bagley. Doesn't say for how much. I'm assuming it's going to be for a minimum. The Grizzlies trade Santi Aldama to the Mavericks for A.J. Johnson, a protected first-round pick, and 2 future seconds. Santi Aldama was a decent player last year. He didn't get much playing time, but when he did, he actually did pretty well. They sent him to the Mavericks for a protected first-round pick. If it's protected, I mean, it's probably going to be like a late first-round pick from the Warriors, so... And this is the big deal that I was going to look to cover. Jaylen Brown traded to the 76ers for Paul George, 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks. This was a crazy move. I mean, the 76ers definitely won, in my opinion. Paul George he's a great player, but I don't think you can't really say he's better than Jaylen Brown. I mean, Jaylen Brown averaged 30 points per game, and he played every game, so... The Celtics take a step back here. They gather some draft assets. We'll see how they use them. They still are projected to be a playoff team, but I mean, they took a step back, and like, you have to wonder what the window is for them winning with Tatum now, with Brown off the roster, how they're gonna get back to being a contender, because right now the 76ers are a better team on paper. So yeah, I don't know why they traded Jaylen Brown. I don't know if they didn't want to pay him, after his contract is up. If, they wanted to allocate the money on the roster in other positions. Or if, I don't know what their approach is, really. But if they added around Brown and Tatum, they were still going to be one of the best teams, in the East. But they decided to trade Brown. So it'll be interesting where they go from here. They still have Derek White on the roster. They have Paul George. They have Tatum. They just signed Mitchell Robinson. Peyton Pritchard's due for a contract soon, so they'll have to make a decision on that. So yeah, and that's all the moves that happened the last few days. So thank you guys for watching, and I'm gonna be back with some new videos soon. Thanks. Bye.